Let's talk Allie Hazelwood. She's an author who I honestly didn't know existed. I mean, there's a lot of authors out there I didn't know existed. But Allie Hazelwood was one of them. I started out by reading one of her books and then I kind of just like left it like it was a good book, but I was like, whatever. And then I started reading some of her other work and she has range. So let's talk about it. And of course, before I continue, if you could just subscribe or like or leave a comment, leave a heart, whatever you want to do in order to engage with my content is super, super helpful and I appreciate you. All right, now let's really talk about her. So the first book I ever read by Allie Hazelwood was Not in Love, and it was good. It was so good. I could relate to every single one of these characters. Rue and Eli were like my two brain cells that just finally connected. Like it felt very like there was character, there was plot, there was depth, there was character development. Rue's a scientist at her friend's company. She works on this project that's supposed to make food last longer, so like vegetables and fruits. Because she had a childhood that was a little rough when it came to food and the amount that was available in her house, and it was inconsistent. So she has some tisms with food as well. And then Eli, he comes in, he works for some type of I want to call it a hedge fund, but I don't think that's what it's actually called. But basically, he comes in and buys Klein's loan, which Klein is where Rue works, and Eli and his crew buy Klein's business loan. And so now they're basically using Klein as they kind of bought Klein without buying Klein, if you know what I'm saying. And but now they're very much in the business and are interviewing everybody and trying to figure out like what how this business works and who Rue is, like all things. Well, what they don't know is Rue and Eli met on what was supposed to be a one night stand. So when they see each other in the same room on different sides of this of a team, yeah, it's a really good book. I'm not sure I gave it enough justice in that entire sentence, but it was a really good book and I loved it. And so I was like, okay, this is good, but we're just gonna put it over there. Well, then in this story, it's mentioned about two other people, which is Eli's sister and Connor Harkness. And I was like, they definitely have chemistry. Like, when are we gonna get a book about them? So she came out with a book about them called Problematic Summer Romance. And there's longing, there's groveling, there's like past tensions. It's almost like a second chance ish kind of romance. It's, brother's best friend ish, um, enemies to lovers ish. Like it's got a lot of ish tropes in there, but it's really good. And it's not a lot of spice. There are definitely a couple scenes that are intimate, but it's not until like the end. And it's just a really good book. Like the Connor is super respectful. He's a gentleman, but he also has that problem where he's like almost over gentlemanly. So like what he thinks is respecting Maya, who's the female lead, is actually just not listening to her about what she wants and what she's comfortable with. So he has to grow in that department. And Maya's like, dude, it's just this simple. Like, why can't we be together? But then she kind of has to realize, like, for him, he doesn't view it that way. He thinks it's morally wrong because of their age gap. And she's like, I don't see how this is morally wrong. So they have to overcome a lot of mental hurdles in order to be together. But when they do, it's magical. It's magical. And so those are my first two introductions to Allie Hazelwood. And I read both of them and I was like, these are like, really good books. This author clearly knows how to write. Like she's doing really well. But again, I kind of just put it aside because I was like, oh well. But then you know what I saw in the bookstore? Mate by Allie Hazelwood. And I had heard about her first one in this, which is Bride, but I didn't read it. I wasn't super invested in werewolf stories, and so I was like, whatever. But then I saw this one, and I don't know why, but it just seemed very attractive to me. And then I realized who it was by, and I was like, she also writes fantasy and like paranormal romances? How does that work? Because we went from talking about science to talking about wolves. And I mean, technically there's a science behind that too. But I was like, there's no way. So I kind of picked it up out of curiosity on how she did. She did so good. I'm not done yet, but I basically sped read through this book for like an entire weekend, and it was so good. Like, there's obviously I have a couple of pages left. I don't know if you can see my bookmark. Um, but she has range. Like, there's no hint of like the same type of writing style in this that there are in her other two books. Like it's very clearly a different world and I love it. And so I just had to talk about it because I think it's hard to find authors who have a really good range in terms of what they can write. And Ali Hazelwood is one of them. She clearly has range. I love what she's written. And so now hopefully you do too. And hopefully you will check all of these books out. Thank you so much for listening. And let me know if there's any book or author that you want me to talk about next. Mwah.